Hello everyone and welcome back. Sorry we're having just short technical difficulties as our screen kind of got a little bit smaller. You're saying
I'm
you're
happy.
okay
I'm
with
very
that.
happy,
You're
yes.
happy with that.
I'm smaller.
A little bit surprise move by Fabi at this point. He played the move A5. We were actually looking at two ideas while we were on break. The first one that we really liked very much, we thought that
Trying to support the pawn.
H5, very direct action, if you will. Rook takes A6, H4, and if we get this set up with this pawn on H3, that will be all she wrote.
It will be a cemented advantage.
Big time. So, and we were just thinking that if Fabi played a very direct way, we thought that this was looking extremely winning, maybe. But Fabi chose this move, and another line we were considering was something of this nature: King F5, Rook takes, Bishop to D5, with the idea of just playing Rook over to E8 and Rook back to G8. Also looked very, very promising. Of all of these, Fabi actually chose A5, and the question, I mean, we're seeing Anish going after this pawn on A5, when I would be scared to death of this pawn on G2. So I would have wanted to eliminate that pawn as soon as I possibly could.
Could be some tactical promise. What if you switch your rook to the, for example, C file and try to go after the white A pawn?
I think I'm just in
rook
time. No rook ending. No
Oh,
rook C3.
95. So
Yeah. I gotta.
do you have rook G4 maybe then instead of rook C8?
Sorry. So, yes, that might be the right. So after rook G4, then the idea is to swing across with your rook, and if you can claim that pawn,
then
bad news, isn't
yes.
it? Yes.
An
Okay.
A pawn past the A pawn, a connection with the bishop in the rook endgame.
You can't have it all as
No.
white. So rook A6 was played,
Yep.
and I think we're up to date with the game. Again, this is crucial for the standings. Not to mention the heavyweight number of rating points between these two. I mean, because they're so close at the very, very top. And in terms of ELO, well, Anish was doing fabulous. I think he was the number 3 player in the world coming into the event.
I think
Am
that's
I right?
that's Anish, yes.
Yes. Pardon me. Magnus first, Vladimir Kramnik second, Anish third. So, and Fabiano fifth. So a win because of the very tight race that they have between themselves for ELO. They could easily switch positions on a decisive result.
Big implications for the standings, but really in this game, if Anish loses, it could almost be too little, too late for him. While if he hangs into this game, then he's still. He has some chances.
Yeah, he has a shout.
This is the game he doesn't want to lose.
For sure. And after A5, I believe we do have a move by Fabiano. I think I'm seeing the rook move. Have I correctly?
Yes, that's correct.
Rook G5. Okay,
and
well.
White captured the pawn.
Knight takes G2. Get rid of that guy. Oh, big time. That's an enormous relief. I must say I'm a little bit perplexed by this. Help me out. What am I missing?
Well, he valued his A pawn higher than his G pawn.
Apparently so.
If he manages to get a shot at the white A pawn, then that would be very nice.
Yeah,
But
but
how
how are we
is-
going about this? Okay, so let me just put my king in some kind of...
So at least the bishop is freed up.
Precisely. So at least I got, maybe ideas like this, and then I'll go and sort out things on the king side, so, on the queen side. King f2. I want to anchor
Bishop
the
b3.
bishop, if I may. Oh, sorry. Bishop b3. Time to release the knight, yeah?
Hmm.
And then something like a4.
And now the rook wants to go to a1.
Exactly. So it's just very, very unpleasant for white to sit here and defend the situation passively. But okay, was that the right winning technique? Not sure. Meanwhile, we have Benjamin Bach has fallen into a well-known trick.
Yes.
Uh-oh.
Let's take a look.
Let's take a look at the challengers group with Benji.
Okay, where
Where was our trick that he fell for? Well-known trick. Ah, nice, nice.
Well, he's
The Mongolian tactic.
that's what it's called. I've
Yes.
used it myself, but I
Yes.
never knew.
That it actually had a name. Yes, it's a
Yes.
Mongolian tactic. Thanks to Bobby Fischer for that. Oops, we have to turn that one off.
Yes, I still have to learn a few things.
Yeah.
So h5 is the setup, yeah.
The setup for the Mongolian tactic. Yeah. Well, this is an exchange, and well, also there are issues on the king side for Benjamin. So
I think white probably has to play g5.
yes, no doubts about it. G5 was a better choice. New variation
And capture on c2,
coming
the
next.
next move.
But whoa, 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 whoa! I'm suddenly waking up to the realization that holy cow! Take a
This-
look at this rook.
It's
It's stuck.
mobile.
It's not going. Oh my gosh! Rook takes c2 was a horrendous mistake. I think after g5, white is simply much better.
So you would have to sack on d4, yeah.
Precisely, and black would be trying
Rook b6.
very, very hard to draw this game. I mean, it's a huge swing going on. Maybe he would draw the game. That's another issue. But he's fighting hard.
How is he drawing this game?
I'm not sure, but that's a... Oh my goodness. A big turnaround at this moment. After rook takes... Oops, pardon me. After h5, rook takes c2, double question mark, g5, and you cannot allow...
Well, you cannot prevent an h-pawn of
exactly.
black running to h4.
Oh my goodness. So he had to release
Yes.
the rook. Now he is just a full exchange down.
Oh,
it
then
even
f5.
gets worse. It
And now
gets
he-
worse and worse.
He has to trade on c4.
And now he's clearly in a technically lost
Yes.
game.
Once the black king.
Has arrived. Wow. Wow. Huge, huge turnaround going on in this important matchup between these very young and important pivotal game. Wow. King c6, put the king on b5, and that's all she wrote. Suddenly it's probably...
Zugzwang.
yeah, it
something
will
is
be
going
like
to happen.
+5 or something according to whatever engines you may be using.
Unfortunately for Benjamin Buck, this is another example that can go straight into the endgame books.
Yes, yes. Ooh, ooh, ooh. What a huge turnaround in this game. All right, back to our masters group, if we will. And do we have other results? By the way, we saw, King Luke. It looks like Pavel has collected some pawns. And we lost it, when we left it, pardon me, we thought that, okay,
This is where we left.
yeah, that, well, Luke had a compensation. It wasn't the worst pawn he's ever lost in his life.
He's lost response on this for sure.
Exactly. This doesn't look so bad at all. Rook c2. I might have anchored the bishop on g3 and gone bishop. I'm just sorry. Let me just put a move on the board for a second. I might have just myself with such a bishop on g3, and you go h5.
And you anchor the bishop.
You always have counterplay. Let's just put it like that. That wasn't what Luke did.
Well, he's looking for different counterplay. But I think rook f2 was the mistake. Because now with e4, the two pieces hanging, you're forcing black to go into this position, and now you cannot avoid trading.
Yeah, and now actually, this bishop is actually really very good. Luke must have. I'm sure he saw this. Yes, I mean he had calculated all of this.
Yeah, I mean he didn't miss e4.
Right. Now, I'm sure he was planning on bishop f2. But maybe White can somehow swing his queen to f5 with a
check.
With a check, huh?
So e takes f7.
Oops, excuse me. New variation. E f7, king f8, of course. How do you swing to queen?
Queen d6.
Queen d. That's, you don't have to go to f5. f4 will do very nicely. Thank you very much. Oh my, so e6.
And now finally the extra pawn.
And bishop had to come back to e7, so there was the failing. I'm sure Luke felt that when he played to move rook f2, he had calculated to the end, and now realized that he had missed.
I briefly heard Elyanov about this moment in the game, and he said he played king h1, hoping for rook f2. So it was a sort of a trap.
Yeah, and of course you can't take because of
queen a8.
Queen a8 is the miserable check that costs the game. So king h1, setting up for a horrible swindle, which Luke has fallen right into, and now it's really 2 pawns and too much.
3 solid games.
And then suddenly one...
Well, it could have been a solid draw as well.
But
instead, you got the short end of the stick.
And we have Mickey Adams saved what I thought was a horrendous position.
How is that possible?
How did that happen? We have left it ages ago when the rook was ugly, everything was ugly. It was more or less, I think, about just these parts, right?
Yes, absolutely. It's the knight of
that we were just highlighting the fact that this rook on h4. Oh my.
This is a bit of a... Okay. We were looking at a6 and b5, yeah?
Right. I think I wanted actually to throw in one more check.
Yes. b8, b2.
I think this had been our previous, and I was saying, okay, just, let's start creating some weaknesses or trying to exploit some. And I thought, oh, this was just going to be a miserable defense, if it was even possible.
Knight h2 is probably the only move.
Right. And
knight f3.
Yeah, and something of this nature. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, might
probably
actually be sort of similar to the game.
Similar to the game. Rook e4, and there was...
This feels like White regrouped his pieces.
Well, definitely with the rook coming
in a quicker way.
Whoa. So, Mickey, very, very tough player to defeat. Somehow managed to hold. Knight d5 draw, agreed. Okay, that's a bit of a surprise. Knight well, at least the knight is on a great square, and it's maybe hard for black to utilize his extra pawn. So a big save by Mickey Adams, and a big save. Wow.
Instead of looking at a half out of 4, he
Yeah, very
got a whole point, which is twice as much.
Yeah, twice as good. Yeah. Wow. Okay. Very nice. Congratulations to Mickey. I'm sure he doesn't feel like congratulations in order, but he's very pleased that
It's
he
much
has
better than the opposite.
the alternative. Yes. Oh my goodness. Okay, so we have quite a number of wins, and
3 wins.
3 wins, and 1 absolutely crucial game still in progress. We left it after a5, rook g5, rook f5. Can you guess these moves?
I probably couldn't have guessed them.
Rook f5, h3.
I would probably never have guessed that
h3.
move. And I'm still sort of
pondering over it, right? Me too. I mean, you know, you have students, Jan, when you say, you see, dear students, take a look. You see this bishop? It's a light squared bishop. So when you put your pawns on light squared, you're making them very vulnerable to attack.
Not to mention that you're putting on the same rank, so if the rook manages to get
to
there,
f3.
but obviously the a5 pawn is what really counts.
Exactly. Okay, so
h3 is to prepare maybe king h2. Because what else is white going to do? He wants to keep the rook to pin the bishop. The knight, if it starts moving at random, it might just completely get lost on his way.
Okay, so like, yeah. All right, while we ponder matters over here in Wijk aan Zee, let's just take a brief break to bring you 2 video clips of interviews with Sergey and Pavel.
Sergey, after a couple of draws, today you scored your first victory against Tomaszewski. Can you lead us through the game?
Yeah, I'm very happy that I managed to win. Okay. I think that today I surprised him with Italian, and he also surprised me with his move a5. But basically, I'm quite happy with how I played this game, and I think after I played d4, I was already slightly better, and after he took d4, I had a very easy play, and then when I played f4, I was already I was already much better, and I think I won a good game.
Yeah, always increasing the pressure. That was what it seems to the audience.
Yeah.
+1. Well, still a lot of chances for the tournament victory. Are there?
Yeah, it is only four rounds have been played, and I'm looking forward to the tournament. I mean, nothing is clear yet, and we will see a lot of fighting chess, I'm sure.
Well, tomorrow's the rest day, and we see you next time on Thursday in Amsterdam.
Yes, thank you. See you.
Okay, bye. Pavel, your second victory in 2 days, but again, you had to work very hard for it, was my impression.
Yeah, I think today was interesting game, and with a lot of tactics, and I think it was more or less balanced. Okay, I think I was slightly better all the time, but Luke was able to find always some counterplay. And the decisive moment was in his time trouble when he played rook f2, and it was a trap. because I played King H1 with the idea of, I mean, it was my intention to play everything what was happened in the game.
You provoked Rook F2.
Yeah, yeah. I think Black. Okay, I'm pawn up, but Black has active pieces, and I think it should be more or less enough for a draw.
Okay. And now, after his mistake, you went on to win the game. Okay, congratulations. We must go back to yesterday's game. I mean, you were already gone when we found out what happened, but could you believe what happened actually? Him letting the rook be undefended all the time.
Yeah, of course, it was hard to believe during the game that after c5 I can just take a whole rook, and okay, it's of course it's a kind of tragedy, but I'm really glad that Shahriar today he played convincingly. I made an easy draw as it looks like, so I'm very glad that he is strong enough, and okay, it happens from time to time, even with the top player, but we should play.
Did you speak with him after the game? Did he give any? You don't know what happened with him?
No, okay, I have no idea. Yeah, I don't know.
Okay, 2.5 out of 4. A good tournament lies in front of you, probably. Good luck.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Hello everyone, and greetings and welcome back to our live coverage of the 2016 Tata Steel Chess Festival. Here in round 4 we're seeing a pretty bloody round in the Masters group, as we already have 3 decisive wins.
And we're hoping for one. Well, hoping
think that Fabiano is squeezing a win, although we must admit that we're a little bit confused. Yes, let me be the first to admit to that one. A little bit of a logic glitch. It was a hard move to discern. Rook on g5 to f5. It seems to have a clear idea of
stopping knight
f4. h3 was answered with rook c5. I believe in such positions the bishop is significantly superior to the knight, and so allowing this trade is quite a surprise for me, and secondly, allowing a rook ending as well. It's just straight rook ending. It would appear that Fabi is giving his opponent more chances of winning. However,
if
the rook ending is winning, it's over. Then he's just
but in that case,
crossing
it means
his I's
that
and dotting his T's.
with a pawn on h2 it's not winning, and with a pawn on h3 it is winning? Or maybe he thought, well, let's just think about this after I play rook f5, and then thought, well, h3.
That's what he seems to be saying. I mean, if you were to apply a logical flow to it, yeah, now that because I've induced h3, now it's a win. Maybe it's that important that with the pawn on, with the pawn on h3, it does mean that on a future setting, the king has this nice king f4, king g3 style setup. Okay, is it a win? Let us continue. White to play? Has White played king f2? I'm assuming White has to play king f2. Let's just toss it out there. Okay, so do you want to go h5, e5, and then run your e-pawn, or
what else?
Or what else?
You cannot move the rook away from the pawn. You cannot move the king away from the pawn.
So h5 it is, yeah? Fair enough?
Yes.
Okay, king comes to e2, so that... well, I'm ready to block the e-pawn, right? And there's no rook...
c3 check.
Rook c3 check. Sorry. Oops, I can do it. Yes, there's no rook c3 check to pick up this a-pawn. And now we're...
h4 seems like it might be a slight improvement for black over... So maybe you can play h4 as well here?
h4 as well, as you like. Let's say I go... Ooh, I'm not sure about that. I was about to play a4, everybody, and let me go here. e5.
Yes.
Very nice.
All in line with the plan.
With the plan. Well, I really
Is the
feel
rook going
that
to switch?
I don't have any choice in the matter. I'll bring my rook to h6. And are we convinced?
No.
I'm not sure. Maybe we are. Check. Yeah?
Okay.
King e3, rook here. Now we have a different...
Now we can really have a harmonious
Oops, sorry.
setup protecting all our pawns.
Exactly. Very harmonious indeed. If I have to go completely passive, as did Wei Yi against Magnus Carlsen, then I can believe in it. I can believe that this should be winning somehow. But, how?
Well, yes, but I cannot... it's hard to believe this would be holdable for white.
It does, yes. I completely concur. It feels like this should be winning indeed. And let me just get an update of the game.
He did
And
play
there
h5.
he did play h5. And again, we're anticipating king e2 was our line.
And then we continue with h4.
Clever. And then we continued with e5.
So rook h6 might not be the best move. At least it allows this
Well,
rook to...
but hold on, I'm really frightened about this. I am very, very frightened that the king might just
move in and
move in and
go for the kill on the
yeah,
h-file.
yeah, and we may not be able to move it out. But how did we do it last time? Rook h6, yeah?
Rook check on d5.
Did we play rook check on d5?
Yes.
How about just simply king here now?
You really want to get to f4 with the knight.
I truly do. But now we'll go rook h8. That's the only, that's the annoying one. So,
And it's hard to make progress.
so we were correct to play check. Main line, and what did we do? We went here, and we were here.
Threatening rook a4.
And that was where we seized the defensive. And
Well, we tried rook c6, c3.
right. And now let me see if I can't do something, do another kind of... I wanted to
Go to
try to go the other way. I don't know. How can you not play rook a4 and just drive your opponent backwards, huh?
Yes, but you might still need to move that rook around to the
Well,
first rank.
Well, I always have this kind of philosophy in chess. It's like
First, take
tie
this
the guy up, and
move.
then figure
Yes.
out the next set of
Also, when you do
circumstance.
this, then you force your opponent to find only moves.
Exactly.
And
You
a lot of players, well, at this level, you can usually expect them to find the best
move.
But at lower levels, people lose their patience in defending, and you might be done much sooner than if you would have gone another way.
Absolutely, absolutely. And chess is all about putting as many problems in front of your opponent as you possibly can. If it's like a test, if the guy answers all the questions right, well, tip your hat. But pose as many difficulties as you can for your opponent. So now we'll just maybe come across to the other side of the table.
And have white come up with some moves.
Yes, and then you can do some nasty checking business and end up repositioning the rook with gain of tempi.
Let's take an update, because
Sure,
some
let's
moves
take
might
a-
have been played. Now we're still at the same
h5.
position. Giri is thinking hard.
And with good reasons.
And I think I see a4 on the board.
Really? Okay, a4 it is.
At least
I was hesitant about committing the pawn to h4.
he will never have to protect the pawn on a3 again.
he won't be able.
Well, if you put it that way.
Mhm. Okay, having said that, can we, how do you say, claim game with just
Pawn push.
e5? Oops, sorry, I meant to say e5. Put our king. Oops, do I have? Yeah, I have to uncheck. Put our king on e4.
Mm-hmm.
Go rook down, and then, with the king and rook, escort
Just go for the
the e-pawn
the
home.
e-pawn.
Yeah.
He did play d5. E5.
Okay. No h4 gradual improvements, but just e5.
Yes, also might still be useful to not have the pawn on h4.
Exactly.
And if you have a clear plan of just pushing the
Win.
e-pawn.
Yeah. Never forget that all you need is one win per game.
One?
One win per game
Sometimes
is all
I play
you'll
games
ever
where I
need.
feel I need like 2 or 3.
I have opponents where sometimes I feel I need to beat them 5 times in order to get one win. But yes, if you can calculate one win and you see it, that's it. That's enough. And Fabi's really. But
Well, he's
Anish
playing
also,
it somewhat confidently. Yeah? He allowed
the trade
to
of the
go to
minor
rook
pieces to begin, and a different, unexpected approach. But if it's a winner,
successful, then it's successful.
you just applaud. Yeah. And gosh, this is not a
It's
pleasant.
not looking very pleasant.
No. If I put king e2, I'm a little bit afraid of king e4, frankly. I'm a little bit afraid that the combination of the king and rook, excuse me, are going to be enough to escort the pawn. Maybe
And
I'm
you
wrong.
might be even willing to give up both.
Yes,
outside
exactly.
pawns, huh?
Yeah, it's a kind of a strange way of winning the game, but let's just show what I
King
would
D-
be afraid. Oh, king d3.
Yeah.
I
Might-
apologize. That's much stronger. Apologies. Let me overwrite. So I threaten mate in 1. So I force,
King e1.
let's say. And this is what I was fearing. That
Yes, the Philidor defense is not going to quite work.
yeah, not when there's a pawn on h3, right? Yeah.
This looks like
This looks
trouble.
lost. This just looks lost. Okay, so I have to do just as equally as I have to post problems to the defender, I have to make the attacker's life that much easier. So a4. Let me try a different one. New move. New me. This looks more challenging.
At
shall we
least you
say.
keep the king out.
Right.
Of course, you invite a check.
I do. And every swap brings me closer, I hope, to my needed draw.
I suppose you could try king e4 again.
Yes. And now what I want to do is put my
Just
pawn on a7 and
get
put
it-
your
yes.
king in a box where it has to remain on the e file because of a discovered check. Or a check.
So black has a couple of moves to try to do something, but
Let's start with a check, yeah?
Mhm.
Okay. I'll stay in the box. Now here's the point. If you play h4 and h3, am I too slow? Let me just say h4, yeah?
yes,
a5, h3, h6,
swing over.
swing over, swing over. And now I have the Philidor defense, where I'm defending along the 3rd rank, and that will be a draw. Success! Yay! Okay, so at least this is a little bit more a challenging move. King e3.
So maybe in this case you might want to play h4 just to get the pawn one
Decent.
step closer.
Very good, very good. I think that makes a great deal of sense. New variation, and then because I'm
Now rook
fearful
c3 is...
of rook c3, I'll
you'll stop it.
now king f4. Ooh, that's grim.
That king g3 move you were hoping for earlier
is suddenly manifesting itself. I mean, dare I say, Fabi is a chess-playing genius. If he
actually calculated
this whole thing and saw that the nuance of the g3 square being available was the key point.
We're not really trying to prove that point, but we're stumbling into it.
Yeah, that would be outstanding. Let me get an update of the game. Have we? What position
No,
have
he's
we
still
reached?
he's still thinking after.
After e5?
Yes.
That is Anish's move, yes?
Yes.
Wow.
So. Yes, if he plays, for example, king f3 or makes a waiting move with the king that stops the black king, then we can take a look at reverting to the line where you pick up the h pawn, and white gets the a pawn.
Right. So what would you recommend, practically speaking? We seem to.
Well, for example, we looked at the line with king e3.
Yeah.
If we
Go king f3.
new variation.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say we get the same position that we looked
Okay.
at, except now the pawn is on h4.
Excuse me. Very good, Jan.
And white takes the pawn, and the king comes in again.
Mm-hmm.
And we go down.
Alrighty.
We have a check.
Okay.
The king tries to stay close. So if we go into the same line,
Right.
let's take a look. Just as a, I think we're going to be a little late. We can
In this
give it
game?
one more try, but
Ah.
I've lost games like that. Maybe blitz
I've
games.
won games like this too.
So there's a
Right.
difference in one move.
Exactly. And very often in such endings, a tempo is the difference between a draw and a win. And we do have a move, by
And
the way.
no, he's still thinking.
No, excuse me.
I'm sure he's
still-
looking at
Why
lines
did
that
I-
are similar to this.
It's because I saw the screen with the green.
With the
Green,
yes, our
our
screen,
green
the
square.
one that
And
we
I said,
can
okay,
control,
that's the last move.
where we're
Okay.
allowed to blunder mate in one.
Brilliantly, by the way.
Always.
Always. Well, my gut tells me this is winning.
Yes, and
we'll
if-
be just.
If I've noticed some sort of a tell with Anish Giri when he's in trouble. He sometimes starts
twirling his hair.
Yes.
I have to confess that's a tell with me too. I'm a hair twirler. I think I picked that up from Grandmaster Jim Tarjan.
Oh.
And Jim Tarjan is a hair twirler.
And is he? Have you seen him play since his comeback? Is he still
he
twirling his hair?
I haven't seen him play in action, but it was very, very nice. He had actually come through Amsterdam, and I got a chance to cook him a home-cooked meal, which he enjoyed, and I hadn't seen him in ages. And it was a real warm reunion. Yeah, so shout out to Jim if he's in our audience. But he's really one of those, there's a lot of good people in chess. There's just, and for me, I feel like I know so many of them, and Jim is really one of those guys. It's just been great. I just have to share a story in case the people don't know this one. Jim in 1979 had qualified for the interzonal, and in those days, those interzonals were terrible. We're talking like 22, 23, 24 player marathon events
Round
robin with the Germans and free days and things like that. So the schedule is like 3-4 games a week. These things would last 6 weeks. And he had this massive tournament in Riga, interzonal. Michael Tall won it in galloping style. And so we had been preparing for months and Hollywood, California, at his home. And our schedule was like we wake up about 10:30, 11:30 in the morning. We stumble out of bed. We would get into his old Volkswagen, crappy old Volkswagen Bug, and we drive to Venice Beach, drink cappuccinos, watch the girls roller skate themselves by, have a lunch, and go and start our analysis about 2, 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
Sounds like a good life.
It was wonderful, and our routine was excellent. So one day, everything's fine, and we're in the Bug, and you know, his Bug had rust spots, you know, it was this white Bug with rust everywhere, and he's driving down the road, and I start looking around, and I go, Jim, far out, dude, you cleaned the car. Jim's driving like, what? Yeah, man, this is great, you cleaned up the car. Jim ignores me, eyes focused on the road. Then on the rear view mirror, there was a chain with a lock, and you could open it up, and there was a picture of a lady in this heart lock. Yeah, so we opened. I said, who's the lady? Jim suddenly realized we're in the wrong car. And we drove back. It was the Bug. It was an identical. The rust spots were there, but it was somebody else's car.
And the key
we
worked.
jumped out like it was toxic. The key worked perfectly. It was an amazing experience.
So
It was
from
like,
that
what?
day on, Jim had 2 bugs.
Yeah, now we knew we could borrow the neighbor's Volkswagen Bug. What do we have? Do we have an update yet? Yes. We do. We do have a move.
Rook A8.
Rook A8. Has this changed?
When you don't know what
our-
to do nothing. Well, he's
Yeah.
doing a little bit. But
Does this change in any way our assessment of the
King
position?
E4 or maybe King F4.
I like it. I like it. King F4 looks very forcing as we're setting... Oops, excuse me. I did something wrong. Escape. Yeah. So King F4, as we're setting up for the very serious drive him to the first rank check. Well, nothing else to be done, no?
Okay, King E4.
Yes, and... Well, dare I say it, nothing else to be done.
You want to check first or...
I'm not sure what I want. Well, let's give him a check.
Mm-hmm.
Let me go King G3.
Yes.
Okay, just to... And again, I'm very fearful that this e-pawn is just going to trundle.
So King E3 or maybe King D3?
King D3, yeah.
Take the
Rook
pawn.
takes. This is one of those variations where I lose both pawns, but I think I get...
You might also lose your rook.
Yeah. Do I like losing both pawns?
Well, you would like to keep a pawn and win a rook.
Yes, no, definitely. I'm thinking maybe I should just start with the move H4
Like in the
here.
previous lines we looked at, yeah?
Precisely. Okay, what else? Rook check, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I go here.
And now you're threatening rook
No,
C4, yes?
Sorry, I overlooked something. So after
So you have
rook
to go
check,
to
I have to
E4.
go to E4. New main line, new variation. Let's go over this one. Now after check, you're going backwards. There's no King G3. Oh, and this is a very important tempo, actually.
Yes. Because now you're
Is it-
threatening mate.
Exactly, and that is making Black's life much
You could
easier.
even play rook D2, D4.
Oh, that's the best. I never like sacrificing pawns.
If you don't have to, huh?
If I don't have to.
Some people do prefer sacrificing pawns.
They're wrong.
But you're not one of them.
I'm not one of them. No, I belong to the temple of pawn grubbers, not pawn givers. That's it. Now, the difference of...
The king activity is just
Yeah.
overwhelming.
Precisely. So, H4 looks like a damn good move here. So rook f8 is not making...
No, and king e4 is the clear threat. Can you...
The
rook
problem
h8,
with rook
then you have
h8,
c4.
precisely, I was hoping that you would give me that opportunity.
Not only
I
do
was
you
waiting
not want
for
to
you.
sacrifice him, you want to take him as well.
Exactly. Rook h8 has a marvelous benefit of giving us a second one.
And if you go rook f8 now, you can still go king e4.
Yes.
Not that you need to. But
No. Now I'm a firm believer
Yes.
in that this position is
So-
heading towards a victory. A nice move, by the way. I like h4 a lot. By the way, this is very important for amateur club players to know, and it always bears repeating that so many of your endgames are going to be rook and pawn
Yes.
endgames. And if you really want to improve as a player, you're going to absolutely have to study rook and pawn endgames. And to make it that much more fun and experience, two players, Akiba Rubinstein and Victor Korchnoi, are, for me, great rook endgame specialists. I learned so much from those two players, their games, and I just say, studying rook endgames is like cheating for a test. You're going to get into a rook and pawn ending. So, cheat and learn your rook and pawn endgames in advance.
And I would like to add that if you like to become a better blitz player, studying endgames, I think, is one of the key elements of
To
doing
being
that.
a good blitz player. Yes, so rook endings, and these two players are playing an
We have-
extremely important one for the tournament.
We have some moves.
All right, what has been played?
Well, let's just get
Did
the update
h4,
because I see...
was h4 played? Oh, okay, let me just do the update. We don't have... After rook a8, we were allowing...
Are we getting a
the-
few more moves?
Oh, excuse me, I have got to turn it on analysis mode. We
One
were
more
allo-
time?
One more time. Sometimes I click the box, but I don't click it. We're allowing this move. Fabiano, he just went, this is the most belligerent way. And again, I'm just going to get an update because there was a check, king d4. He just went straight ahead.
He did. I would
a
assume
little bit
rook-
surprised.
Yeah, rook d3, king c4, and
This is a choo-choo train, yeah?
pawn looks very
Very
powerful.
powerful. Just tuck, tuck, tuck. 3 moves away. I think this counterplay,
This would take a little bit too long.
yeah. Let me just
But let's see how it
Yeah.
really plays out, because
all the way to the end, yeah?
if the white a pawn makes it across,
I am not going... Am I going to give a check? Maybe I am giving
just
a
to
check.
put the king on the g file.
Well, I don't want to go to the...
Don't you want to approach
Sorry.
from the...
Tell me what I should be doing. I'm going to give you a check. Tell me what you would do if you were black.
Maybe g5?
Pardon? G5.
Yes.
Okay. So I...
And I queen,
Yes.
and then
And
we have
trade.
a straightforward race.
Yes. Now you want your king backwards.
Mhm.
Yes. 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 And you're there. It's over.
Yeah.
Very good. And probably it's not even close, actually.
No, you still have probably
do
one-
extra move in
Yeah.
hand. Aha.
So he cannot take the a and the h pawn.
No. But I'm afraid if I don't take them both, and I'm only left with one, you'll sacrifice the rook for it and then win the king and pawn ending. So that is a little bit
We're
easy.
in
Are we up to
this
date?
position.
And we expect rook check, rook d1, and now again this move.
There's a Too late.
Too slow, yeah.
So what if you check from
Hold on, one more look, check,
Okay.
here, take, here. Let me check you.
Uh-huh.
So the difference is, in this case, I've saved myself a tempo.
Maybe.
Have I? I'm not 100% sure either. Do you like King G3, by the way? Because you...
If
it's
it
not-
wins.
If it wins, it wins. It's brilliant. Okay, bravo. King F3, but what happens here? Yes. Tell me if I'm...
We're so lucky that we don't have to calculate it.
We'll let them calculate it,
Yeah,
you
but
mean?
I think this one is...
Draw. No. Is it drawing or not? I am not sure. Well, what do we do? What do we do? Yeah?
Yes.
Something of this
King.
nature? Yes?
King again. And we are in time.
This was a little bit closer, but still winning. Yeah? Okay, so we have not found a drawing
Was
method.
Getting a knight not.
Yeah, but has Fabi played? He's
No,
taking a
he's
long
still
time
not.
over Rook D3, which seems very straightforward. So, could he be considering something
But
else?
couldn't you get a knight at the end of that line?
Yes, but it's trapped. It's winning.
Can we show the audience?
At the end of the line.
So yes, at the end of that line.
Okay, so check here.
And then King A7.
King
Yeah,
A7.
rook.
Now I will do some
Magic.
magic business
Rook B7, and then
Check.
you're going to.
here,
And I have to go back again,
and let me eta.
and then we have a
We will
problem.
yes, we will trap you.
Yes. King
We-
B8, Rook H7.
Yes, it's sorry that it's like one of those things that you go from studies, right?
Mhm.
So first you know that this position is winning, and then you go
You just
backwards, you
retreat.
retreat, and then yeah. So this is like one of those things that you just when you study some of these beautiful Kasparian problems, they were just like some kind of a poetry for me. I just
Mhm.
enjoyed them so much. The guy was a genius. I mean, just it's shocking how
It's
how
chess
much he-
beauty in its purest form.
Exactly, and so just from studies, you have that. I'm thinking that what
He did
what-
play Rook D3, by the way.
Yeah, I was thinking that what Fabiano could have been considering in this exact position was maybe he was considering captures king, rook, now check, and
You have 2 pawns.
yeah, exactly, and
But the other one was nothing wrong with it. right?
nothing. One win per game. That's all we ask. Yeah. So rook d3. So we anticipate king c4. We are anticipating rook d1 thereafter.
And we're waiting for Black's next move.
Yeah. All right. We're going to take a 10-minute break, but we will come back to both wrap up and see if Fabiano is going to win his third game in this 2016 Tata Steel Chess Festival. So remain with us as we come back for both a wrap up as well as the game in hand. Good evening, chess fans, and welcome back to our live coverage of the 2016 Tata Steel Chess Festival. I'm your host, Chess Grandmaster Yasser Seirawan with Jan van der Morvel. Jan, it's been a long evening, but an absorbing rook and pawn endgame as, well, we've been having trouble guessing some of the players' moves, I must confess.
Especially Fabiano's moves, yeah?
Yes, especially Fabiano's moves. We were very surprised by this rook takes h3. Apparently, there's a website, analysis.
SESSE,
where a person from Norway has access to some super mainframe computer who claimed that at this moment of rook h3, had he gone rook a3, the assessment was plus 40, minus 40, or yes, for so that was a clear win. And then the idea was that after rook a3, rook a8, Anish may be saving himself.
Yes.
Which is really rather remarkable. We have seen this move rook h1, and so what else? It's not a question of intuition. There's no other move. Yeah, you have to play a5. We presume the rook comes behind, or the king goes to e3, or let's say rook comes behind.
And the pawn moves.
We move our pawn. And now we've got to go and shelter our king, yeah?
So that after a7 we cannot be checked.
Yes, but the problem is perhaps king b5.
And if the rook takes the h-pawn, all he needs to do is
then
take
give
the
up.
e-pawn.
Exactly. So, well, you've got to get this guy running, right? But maybe it's too late already. If we get this guy running, a7, it's too late already. We're going probably simply here. And what you just said, as soon as we manage to grab this pawn,
as long as we're in time to cover e1.
So this was too simple, and this was where we really thought that we were expecting, I think, rook d1. This is where we added.
Yeah, we had it with rook d1 and then pawn takes jack, king f4, so with move transposition.
So
but
we thought
I guess if the supercomputer is telling us rook a3 is the only move,
then there you have it. Okay, so let's get the actual game position. Rook takes it. Okay, we cancel that one. Sorry. And here we have. Do we have a5? Yes, we do.
And we have a6.
And no, we don't have the rook swinging. We do have a5, and then do we have h4?
Yes, we do.
h4 is the new main line.
a6, rook
a6,
a1.
rook a1, and here we have it. Woo.
So obviously, if a7, you'll play king e3.
Indeed, a7, king e3.
And then it takes a little longer for the white king to connect with the pawn.
But not that much longer. We're in time. It's that simple. We're now in time, and a draw can be agreed. We have to check. And we do have moves from the players.
a7 has been played.
So after...
And I see Anish is suddenly has a different posture.
As he recognizes that his opponent has let slip a vital win. And we do have our analysis, king e3, and we're now expecting either king c5 or king b5 from white.
King b5 it is.
King b5, and oh my, a huge slip,
Anish Giri has remained in tournament contention.
That's it. That's the way to look at it. Tournament contention indeed. And had Fabiano won this game, we saw a number of slips or a number of confusing decisions.
Well, it started with first of all, going into the end game, where
Right.
the attack looked very promising,
Right.
and then he allowed trading into a rook end game.
The minor piece to
And
allow
we
the
also
swap.
discussed whether to give up this A pawn and just keep the G pawn.
Mm-hmm.
We're not sure about that. And then in this rook end game, we thought he had a win if he would have played king e4 instead of moving the e pawn. Actually,
Yeah.
h4 was the move that we looked at.
Right.
Just before this?
Just at this moment, when he
Yes.
played e4, h4 looked like a much superior choice. I mean, I'm always very reluctant to criticize because these guys have been playing 6 hours and it's really, really tough. We have the benefit of yourself.
Yes, I mean, we might be very
the
wrong
computers. I mean, it's easy for us. But I think Fabiano
Yeah,
has
he's
now
realized,
suddenly
yes.
gotten this very chilly feeling that he has let his winning moment slip by. And this was a tough one, actually, at this exact moment, to realize that
The rook a3 was the winning move.
that's a counterintuitive move. But these positions, it's all about calculation. And there's nothing to say about, strategy or something like that.
It's
as
pure.
human,
It wins
It
or
w-
doesn't win.
exactly. That's all.
And you have to see it all before you make the move.
Exactly. So we do feel that at this exact moment, the win has slipped away. King e3, king b5, and what? Did he play h3?
h3, yes.
He has played
King
a
b6 and rook b1 check.
rook. Excuse me, rook b1 check. New main line, king c6 or king c7,
Mm-hmm.
either one. King
King
c6.
c6. And this game might not last.
Much longer. You just have to get behind the pawn again.
And you don't even have to look at the position anymore. If you look at the players, then
Mm-hmm. And Fabiano
know
turning. I've done that myself. I mean, I turn and look at my score sheet and say, "You're to blame." Like, why did
Well,
you? Why,
the proof is right there.
Yes, you're to blame. Looking at the score sheet, and it looks like a draw is about to be agreed, and that being the case,
Yes, then
a
looking at
draw
the-
has been agreed.
And
We
he's
can now-
raising his eyebrows in sort of disbelief, like,
How did I save myself? Yeah. Oh, big miss. And as you say, it keeps Anish in the tournament, and it keeps Fabiano from galloping away from the field.
Yeah.
And he really will.
he will not be happy.
No. So we will have the results shortly. We'll bring up a graphic, but we do have 3 wins, a white day.
Very right day.
A nice dominating win by Sergei Karyakin over his countryman Evgeny Tomashevsky, the Russian champion. Pavel set up a very sweet trap that Luke Van Velde fell headlong into. So those 2 games were won. Magnus Carlsen not in form. He's not demonstrating anything thus far yet.
Yes, but don't despair. Once he starts winning, usually he keeps winning.
True that.
And it's not like he has had any trouble.
No. He's not been in trouble, that's for sure. And a shout out to both Sergey and Shaq, very sportive Shaq, to come in and go through the game as well as Sergey. Michael Adams was I was going to say lucky, but it's not luck. He's just a tenacious
he's done it
defender.
before.
Against Wei Yi, made a draw. Anish Giri, as we've just seen against Fabiano Caruana, saved his skin. Wesley So, Ding Liren, hard-fought draw. But the game of the round, really outstanding game. Just marvelous game between Hu Yifan, David Navarro, Hu Yifan sacrificing a rook, tactically and strategically, a really
It was a
masterful
masterpiece.
game. Yeah. So very, very nice. Round 4 action, and still the players are at the board.
The standings, what are they?
And in the well, Caruana at +3, +2, pardon me, 3 out of 4. Ho Yifan, Sergei Karyakin, Ding Lorraine, Pavel, Eliana, who would have thought that after that horror, but Gifted and Wesley So, trailing with by half a point, all at +1. And in the challengers group, let's see what our results have been in the challengers.
It has been a somewhat of a...
If you can. Drev, 4 out of 4. We thought that would be the case. That was just a beautiful exchange. What light square domination. He was really looking impervious, if you will. Jordan Van Forest won a model game against Sam Sevian. That will go into your tactical books in the future. Nino has won against Episov. Lots of wins here. Look at this. Abidjan has won, and also, well, the Alexei Driv, with several games still in progress. But 4 out of 4.
Can't ask for more.
Yeah, you certainly cannot. We hope you've enjoyed our live coverage of the 2016 Tata Steel Chess Festival. We'll be here tomorrow for round 5, and then there will be...
Maybe you'll be here, but we'll be...
Sorry, I was going to say there was going to be a break, a rest day for tomorrow.
The challengers will play.
The challengers play. Then we break down the studio. We move it all to Amsterdam for our first... we'll be at the Nemo Museum, which, by the way, is really fantastic.
It's a remarkable
museum,
piece, yes.
Yeah. But it's an interactive one, and the kids, our niece and nephew, we take them there. They're just super excited because they get to play with all of the exhibits. It's really a great cultural venue, and that's where we'll be for round 5. So the Masters take the day off, the Challengers do not. We'll be back when the Masters play, and we hope you'll join us. In the meantime, a happy evening to everybody. Jan, once again, thank you so much for joining.
Yasser.
You've been tremendous. Good night, everyone.
Every year, in January, a small village gets worldwide attention. Thousands of people gather, both young and old. The world's greatest grandmasters get together with thousands of amateurs to play the ultimate game of minds, where concentration is key and fun part of the game. With special events in premium locations, in front of the eyes of the world.
Ja, het Tata Steel schaaktoernooi.
15,000 event visitors. 1.7 million website visitors. More than 600,000 live stream viewers and 2 million online followers across all channels. Chess rocks.
This is Magnus Carlsen. I'm now here in Wijk aan Zee. It's 11 years since I was first here, and next year I hope to see you too.
th edition, from January 15th through January 31st. The Tata Steel Chess Tournament. Be part of it.